Good afternoon, scholars and families. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday as we're entering into the end of first quarter. Very pleased with how we've been able to work on a lot of the curriculum, understanding so many new things, going through so much material. I'm sure your scholars have learned so much. It's been a blast to be able to kind of see them transition and start to get accustomed to the culture at TCCA. Now, a couple of things with this newsletter that I just wanted to make you all aware of is that today was the end of the quarter, and so I'm entering in final grades, trying to make sure that everything is taken care of. Know that I'm looking to help your scholars out as much as possible, and if you have any questions about how I'm doing that and how I'm taking care of that, just send me an email. All right, I'm happy to answer questions about that and really kind of maintain communication about that. But with that being said, just wanted to keep you in the loop for what we've been up to this past week, starting with our initial time in the morning, which is our English and our literacy. So with our English and literacy, we've been working through composition. How do we work through a paragraph? How do we write consistently but creatively? I'm just checking my mailbox, by the way. Sometimes, yeah, nothing in there. There you go, huh? What are you gonna do, right? But we've been looking at how we should be able to write consistently and creatively, following a couple of different processes that, in terms of, how do we organize our 5-paragraph essay? How do we organize our sentence structures? What kind of words do we do our best to include with that, as well as peer reviewing, editing on my part, making sure that your scholars are set up to win as best as possible in that area. Now, as we are progressing, your scholars will be able to look at their essays from the format of having a fully formatted 5-paragraph essay where they're going to be comparing and contrasting Helen of Troy as well as the story of Joseph that we had from our Judaism and Christianity unit. Ultimately, the goal here is for us to be able to have well-developed essays, so I'm really looking forward to that. Your scholars are doing very well, and they're growing in their writing ability quite a bit. From there, we finished up our Christianity or History of Christianity unit in our history section. Very good test scores on that. I can tell that your scholars put a lot of work into the study of that, into the understanding of that, as well as better recognizing how all of that fits together. So very thankful for that. We began our Greek and Roman history unit on Thursday, and I'm very pumped for that. I think that it's going to be a really cool time where your scholars are better able to understand differences in between Greek culture, Roman culture, as well as how does that all fit into the context of the modern day in America. Now, one thing to keep in mind as we're going through that is we're really going to be overemphasizing, well, not overemphasizing, I don't know if you could, honestly, it's really in-depth stuff. We're going to be emphasizing what it means that the influence of the Greeks and the Romans meant towards America. We're really going to be focusing on that. So I'd encourage you, talk to your scholars in the upcoming weeks. Ask them, what does it mean that the Greek society had a democratic flair to it, or what does it mean that different societies in terms of Athens and Sparta and Rome had very different governmental styles, so and even expectations for their citizens. Keep that in mind, ask them. I hope that it has a really cool discussion opportunity for you all as you're sitting around at home talking to each other about what they're learning here at TCCA. In science, we have been studying waves this past week, waves of energy, not just surface waves, which is a type of wave that you'll see at the ocean if you go this next weekend, but we have been focusing on different types of energy and how different types of energy can cause wave. We've talked about quite a bit about Wi-Fi, we've talked quite a bit about Bluetooth, we've talked quite a bit about a lot of things that your scholars might have an understanding of as just givens. but we've talked more about how do they actually work and the science behind that. So hopefully they found that interesting and enlightening. We spent the end of today talking about Marie Curie, who is a Polish scientist who did amazing work in the fields of radioactivity and understanding more about that. So if you want to kind of see how your scholars are interpreting information that we're doing, ask them about that. Ask them what they thought about that story that we talked about today in terms of her life and her accomplishments. Hopefully it was good. Finishing out this past week, we completed all of the stuff that we were doing with division and multiplication of fractions. Just got test scores in today for that. I added a 4-point curve on the test scores just to try to pull up scores a little bit right before the quarter end. So hopefully you see that. Hopefully you're able to feel confident about that heading into the second quarter. If there's anything with that as well, send me an email, ask me a question. I'd be happy to answer them. So other than that, we're moving into decimals. So if you're looking in terms of, okay, we need to kind of help be ready for helping our scholars understand those things, just kind of have that in your viewpoint. Other than that, we've had a fantastic first quarter. I'm very, very pleased. I'm thankful for the attitudes and the engagement that my scholars have provided for me. Hopefully that they felt the same and that I've been able to provide them a wonderful 6th grade experience, not only in my classroom, but here at Treasure Coast Classical Academy. With that, I'm going to upload this and then I'm going home to go write some tests and grade some papers. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday.